Good evening. This is the Parks Board for Thursday, January 20th. And Eric, do we have all of our roll here?
Everyone is present except Connie Crawford and Julie Jones. There are a couple of people meeting via Zoom, being Lisa Haney and Ryan Marcotte.
Very good. Well, we have some business we need to take care of. Allie, you're going to have to get sworn in. So, Eric, well, good. I need you to raise your right hand and repeat after Eric.
I, Alicia Jorn, do solemnly swear that I possess all the qualifications of office of Park Board member as prescribed by law, that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Missouri, the provision of all laws of this state affecting cities of this class, and the ordinances of the city of Kearney, Missouri, and faithfully demean myself in office. So help me God.
I do.
All right. If you would sign here, and then I'll have Jim sign it, and then I'll put it in our public file.
Thank you.
And welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Did everyone have a chance to read the minutes from last month's? Was there any questions? If not, can I get a motion to approve minutes from last meeting?
Motion.
Do I get a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
We need to make sure we pause that way for
That's
Lisa.
right, for Lisa.
Right.
Lisa, did you get my vote?
Yes, aye.
Okay.
Can you
Good
hear
job.
me?
All right. Hearing all yeas, no yeas, the minutes from last meeting passes.
Okay.
We have a public request and petition on here, so Eric, if you'll fill us in on the Boy Scout camp out.
Sure. The Boy Scout troop was going to be here, but due to an illness, they emailed Ryan, and Ryan will read what they had prepared for us as a public request and petition. So, Ryan, I'm going to turn that over to you and describe to the board what they are wanting to do, and we'll go from there.
Sure thing. So, the Boy Scouts of America, the Heart of America Council, they had their day camp with us last summer for 5 days, and it went really well. They took care of the trash and very few issues at all, nothing major whatsoever. They originally wanted to have a fall overnight camp out, but that fell through. They are looking to have an overnight camp out on Friday, February 18th, from 5 p.m. Friday, February 18th to around 6 p.m. February 19th. So that's a Friday night into Saturday. They call it their Klondike event. Essentially what it is, they do an overnight camp out, but they also do scouting skill stations throughout the park. In between these stations, they're going to push a team-sized homemade wooden sled. Now these sleds don't have any metal on them. There's no metal rails, so they're not going to tear up the ground or anything. And they push those sleds between each station that's spread out throughout the park, and at each station they'll do a scout skill evaluation. They're asking us for overnight camping on Friday, February 18th to Saturday, February 19th. They're expecting around 200 to 220 campers. I did ask them about the weather, and they said the event is best with some snow, but freezing rain or excessive ice would naturally result in the cancellation of the event. The location where they'll physically be camping and sleeping would be what we call the RV area. It's also, we use it as the amphitheater parking area. So that's going to be right across from the amphitheater and the concession stand area there. And they'd be parking either in the parking lots or just alongside the roads. They are asking us to use 4 of our water spigots, which they're currently on. They're frost-free hydrants. We just have them chained up, except for the ones at the water park. That way, you know, in the wintertime, someone doesn't turn it on and walk off, and we have a big frozen mess, which has happened in the past. They're also asking us to relocate a couple of our porta potties that are in the park. Neither of those should be a significant issue whatsoever for staff. So staff is going to recommend that we allow them to camp overnight on the 18th into the 19th. One issue that Eric and I were discussing, actually, we have a couple of issues that we're going to bring up with them. Naturally, we'll ask them to pick up after themselves and all the trash and everything, and they really do a great job at that. So that's not a huge concern. So we know they'll take care of that. The concerns we did have, we'd like them to block the road approximately at the dam, or if you're thinking about it in terms of the dog park, right after the entrance to the dog park. That way, cars aren't coming in there at night when they're camping and potentially, running through where they're camping or whatever. We don't want anything like that to ever happen. So we can't close the park since there'll be people in the park. For emergency services, we need to leave the park open, but we're going to ask them to block the road right there at the dam. Additionally, we did have a question as far as their fire pits go. I believe they're going to be using those kind of outdoor fire pits, the metal type ones. But we just want to confirm that and make sure, they're not, setting logs on the ground, setting them on fire, in the event that it is dry. Beyond that, we naturally, for any event, ask for a copy of their insurance policy with City of Kearney as an additional insured.
Ryan spoke on, and when we were seeing emergency services, whenever the park is open at night, say for example, amphitheater event after 11 o'clock or Jesse James Festival, naturally there's people camping out there during the festival, so that's why we don't lock that park just in case they would need an emergency service. But this way, people that come in there in the evening time with the park being open, that it does happen, and this way they can't get back to that area. And that's one of the reasons why we block it far enough back where we think that they'll be safe in that area.
I would ask that we also block off walking trails, because we do have young people here for their safety, not just the road, but the walking trail that whips down through there as well, because they could come in from Matt Porter Park and come into their campsite.
Well, Matt Porter Park, we'll lock that at night. That park would be...
Yeah, but they can come from the top of the hill, walk down and walk in if they wanted to. If there's some way we could put, walking trail closed, maybe from the amphitheater on down the bottom of the hill, so that they don't come down that area.
Okay.
Just a thought. I just think it's safety for the kids.
The police do need to be on board, just extra patrol if there's a patrol and seeing if there's anybody that.
I like that. I like that.
Should not be, in that area, or maybe just, people that are just kind of out there soliciting.
Yeah, because.
Yeah, we'll bring that up with the chief tomorrow.
Yep, even though that, we lock say for example, we don't have anything going on tonight, the police go out there and lock it unless it's just ice storming or whatever. And then it's usually we keep it locked when there is ice and don't even open them so people don't tear things up out there. But the thing of it is with the patrol, people will still go out there because the gates are far back. They'll park, and we do have night walkers with their, yeah.
I would definitely maybe look at, and not definitely maybe, but talk to the fire department too, because it may be helpful just for them to drive through to make sure that there aren't any major issues, or if there's any fire bans at the time too,
Yep.
because we haven't had a whole lot of precipitation.
We will let all these people know that this could be happening, and we want you to vote on this, whether it be yay or nay. And we did look it up in the ordinance to make sure, because we thought it had to go to the Board of Aldermen. It does not in the codification. It's just, special permit, by the park director, but I don't do that. I always like you guys as a board, that way you know what's all going on. Even though I'm technically, yes, I can just say that. Why wouldn't we need a park board? I think it's wise that we let you guys know and to make that, final decision. I think it's, how it should be, so.
Are all their activities gonna take place on that RV side?
It'll either be on that RV side or possibly in the carnival parking lot area and over by where they did, over by the, big pavilion when they had their day camps. They had basically that area, and then when, I don't know if you recall, they had some shooting targets at that time. I don't think they're gonna do that now. We made them go clear down to the bottom of the very bottom soccer field and shoot into the hill away from everybody. So, everything we've asked of the Boy Scouts, it worked out better than what we thought, especially for the first time. And I think now that they know the park a little bit better, it's the same group. It's not like it's a different group. And,
Are they using the field behind the rodeo arena?
they did not.
They did not, okay.
They did not. So,
I think there's one other thing that I'd like to mention.
Sure.
For consideration is that, a lot of times these Boy Scouts, they go out on these places and things are cut down, so maybe that's something they say is that nothing can be removed from the park, any vegetation or any trees or firewood or anything like that. Bring your own firewood type of deal, because this time of year, you can't identify a tree, you know, you don't know what that tree is, and somebody thinks it's dead, they just start going through the woods and cutting things down and throwing it in the fire. And I think that, you know, just as a resident, a citizen here, that I think that we want to let them know that they'll respect the nature out there.
Yeah.
as is, yeah.
When people rent out the park, are there guidelines or something that they sign with things like that?
We usually do a park, like for, the bull ride, we'll do a park reservation agreement, and we'll do that with them as well. And, 'cause there'll be a fee involved of $250, that they will, pay the city of Kearney. So, but we'll make sure that, anything we do for any other group, Jesse James Festival, anybody, we make sure that, we have a copy of their insurance, naming the city as an additional insured as well. So, and I don't think that they're, I know we got it the last time and it wasn't a problem getting it, again, and they, email it over to us, so we have that on hand before the event. So, any other questions you guys might have? Any other comments that you might think of and, that we might not have talked about?
Yeah, and if you guys think of anything after the fact, feel free to just get a hold of us and we'll pass it along.
Shoot us an email. That's the easiest way, and then we can, relay information on to them.
I need a motion to approve the request for the Boy Scouts camp out on February 18th and 19th with conditions as laid out by Eric Marshall.
So moved.
Got a first? Got a second? Got a second? All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Hearing none, the request is passed.
Okay?
Let's move on to old business. Old business looks like we got some dog parks and some Lions Park concrete repair and some Christmas parades to talk about.
Yes.
Eric, lay those out for us.
The dog park accessories have been installed. We'll probably talk about more in the budget that we're getting ready to do. But the dog park equipment is, I think, met and exceeded our expectations. It is absolutely the heaviest stuff that we've dealt with.
Oh, mother of God, that stuff was so heavy. Like, he's underselling it big time, guys. We had 8 people installing this stuff, and it was still Really
to
tough.
lift it and get it upright, because you had to put it together and then set it down in the holes with the concrete. And, yeah, it was, people seem to love it, and I know right now it's not the best time because, with the ice out there, that it's not getting used as much, but, people are loving the dog park equipment. Again, when we talk budget, I'll just tell you a little bit on that. We want to get some more equipment in this year's upcoming budget, which begins April 1, and order some more equipment for both sides. But what we have right now is great. Ryan and I talked, and I know we visited with you in the fall about shelters. Instead of actual shelters, because the price of metal has went up so it's ridiculous. We're gonna try and do like sunshade structures similar to what we have down here at the Lions Park Splash Park. And this way, in the wintertime, what we did is we take down the canopies, and then in the springtime, that way if there's high winds or ice or anything like that, it doesn't get damaged. And knock on wood, we haven't had any problems with the shelters out at Jesse James Park right now, but that's something we're going to look in, and we think it'll save us a substantial amount of money. We already have the park benches that we want to install, so that'll cut down on the overall cost, because we took those nice park benches that we removed from Lions Park when we did the renovation. They are in storage over here at the 105 building.
You're putting those in the pavilion.
Those will be,
They will.
yeah, those will be what will be, you mean, I want to put, we've got like 6 of them, so we want to use 4 of those at least in the dog park area underneath the shade structure. That way people can sit out underneath the shade, watch their dogs and things like that.
Fabulous.
That's the only thing we've really had a complaint with, and we told them that's what we're doing, you know, we want to do this spring, summer, and they're all great about that. So, anyway.
How many dog waste stations you got down there?
We have 1 on each side.
One on each side, okay.
Mhm. Yep, and they get used, that's,
Well, I was wondering, do we need more?
no,
No?
no, because, we're out there every day and we check those every day, and we go on the trail once a week and collect those every week.
If you need more, call Rotary.
Okay.
Well, I know we're going to need 1 more at least, possibly 2. We did, while we're talking about that, Eric, we did get a question from a citizen asking if we could possibly install one on the stretch that goes across the school property of the trail, kind of between Greenfield. Excuse me?
In front of the high school?
Behind the baseball field that
It goes down between the
walkway
baseball
that
field
goes-
and the tennis courts, and
Oh,
goes-
the bottom,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
yeah, down towards the sewer plant.
gotcha.
So, you know, we might be able to use another 1 or 2 right off the bat.
Okay, I'll pass that on.
The Lions Park concrete repair over, November, about the 3rd week in November, Mega KC came back in and tore out a bunch of the concrete that we were having some major, water standing issues. There for a while, we didn't have any moisture to tell if it was working or not. We did get some snow, and it started to melt. We do know that, the band shell, it's a slow drain, but the wind was blowing out of the west at that time, so it was battling that, but it was still draining to the back to that drain, so we know that's working. Over by the Crete Shelter, there's still an area I'm not real happy with, but it's way better, especially by the one post. It drains really good away from there where it was really standing there. But the major issue that we had was right by the bathroom and on the back side of the bathroom, coming down from the grass, on the, would have been the south side of the old firehouse to the back side of the bathroom building, and water would just really pond there, and kids would run and then hit that, and they could just bust a head open. That is draining really well because they cut out concrete, put in the tube, connected it to the tube that takes the drainage out of the playground that we put underground drainage in there, connected to that, and it goes right to the creek. So that solved a big problem, and wanted to let you know we think we're going to be okay now with the drainage. We have still have the performance bond that we have not yet released. So come springtime, when we start getting some rains, we'll be able to tell a lot better. But we think, both Ryan and I were over there walking it, and we saw the drainage, and it seems to be working right now.
When they put that, they hooked to the creek back there, they put it down, did they fix the tube that went under the road right there, how it was washing away right next to the tennis, or the basketball court? Did that get fixed?
That was not part of that
That wasn't part of that deal, so we still have an issue there we gotta address?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was not part of the project.
Yeah, I didn't know if that got fixed when I did.
Yeah. Just real quick, unless you have any more questions on Lions Park, the concrete repair.
So all those repairs are completed, there's nothing else outstanding? That's all completed?
All complete, and like I said, we still have we want to be there when it does an actual rain instead of just melting snow, just to make sure that we're completely satisfied with it. But everything we've asked them to come and do for us seem to be doing what we've asked. Ryan, you want to add anything to that?
No, not really. The thing I was most worried about, besides the restroom pond that we were having, was the band shell, and that appears to be draining pretty good. Like Eric said, we want to have an actual rain event, a heavy rain event, so we can observe it. But I think it'll work.
We'll keep you guys posted if we need to have them come back. So, the Christmas parade again was a great success. A lot of people put a lot of effort into that, and one thing that has been brought to everyone's attention, because it is dark, and last year it was a static parade, and this year it was just a regular type parade. It's dark, people are throwing candy, and kids are running out in front of the vehicles.
Yeah, no candy.
And we've got to cut that down, and we'll make that, I know that Kurt will come to, a board of aldermen for the magical night and do that, but it's going to be our recommendation. I know the city and the Parks Department with our floats, we're not going to throw any more candy. And we did throw candy too, but we were trying to throw it hard and get it to the edges. But I do know from floats before us, I could see candy just right out close to the float area. And we don't need anybody.
That's dangerous, yeah.
It is dangerous. So.
To not completely abolish the candy policy and stuff like that, but I think that it'd be wise if you had, because kids go there for the candy.
Absolutely,
They're excited,
absolutely,
like,
yeah.
Have people walking along.
Underneath that trailer,
Is enticing.
Somebody, yeah, so, yeah, that, definitely some safety concerns, but, possibly get these, people to donate to a pot, for the candy and have people just walk with baskets on each side so they can hand it closer to the curb and such like that. I think it'd be a good solution.
Yeah, like dress up like elves or something.
Yep.
That'd be sweet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or the Grinch or whatever.
Yeah, that's what my kids loved about that parade, which was fantastic. By the way.
I heard,
feedback.
I didn't attend, but there was a lot of overwhelming positive comments about this. And I was actually a judge a couple years ago for the Smithville lighted parade, and that it gets a lot of attention there as well. It's an event that's well participated in.
Yeah.
I'd also like to point out that the Kearney Parks and Rec float is a 2-time award winner. This year we won Best Bulldog Spirit. Last year we won Most Unique.
Love it.
Congrats.
Don't forget that the city alderman won an award as well for, our Polar Express float. Thank you.
It was nice. Yeah.
Congratulations to all.
It was a solid effort.
It was a nice night.
Be real competitive next year.
Oh, we've already got ours,
Yeah,
not guaranteed.
Costa's coming in
We're
on
gonna
that float
love
next
it.
year.
Yeah.
We gotta start talking, so.
Yep.
I had
Yeah,
to work,
we've
but I
got some
wasn't
ideas.
drive a vehicle through it. Yeah. I was supposed to drive, the window tinting. Yeah.
I still like the limo deal. Ryan?
Yeah. Let's just leave it at that because we might actually
Yeah,
use
we'll
it.
give them a little tease. All right.
Okay, there's nothing else on the Christmas parade. Need to go to new business?
Rhino, take off.
Yeah, so winter sports. We are currently doing basketball right now. We have 123 kids doing our basketball program. So far, we've been practicing for a little over a month. Our first set of games was January 8th. Last weekend, we did not have games, but because of the snow and everything. And part of the deal is about half of our kids are from out of town. So we made the judgment call to postpone those games, and we'll be making them up, of course. 120 kids, everything's going great. So we're really happy with that, especially considering this is a higher number than we had in 19. And naturally, we didn't have it in 20. So we grew even in our year we didn't have it. So we're really happy with that. Spring sports signups have already started. We're getting great response for everything right now. We've already got over 50 kids for soccer. So it's going crazy. So everything's going great with that.
And our banners are up around town. I don't know if you've seen them. We just have a generic banner, which covers all the sports, just lets people know to go to the website.
Youth sports, sign up at carneyparks.com.
So much easier.
Yep.
So much easier.
Yeah, we used to do banners with, a football and a soccer ball. And then it's like, well, we do spring soccer too, but we don't do spring football. So we need a soccer ball and a baseball. And it's like, you know what, let's just put all the balls on one banner and just say, youth sports, sign up now. So that works a lot better.
And it works a lot better, and people will recognize those banners, and we've got them in the prominent locations, and it's people now realize about that time it's time to start signing their kids up, and we get one going, and it's time to sign up. Start sign-ups for the next. It's just a year-round deal.
And
but that's
And part of the reason it goes so well is we have some really great people on our day of events that work for us. We have a gal named Lindsay Winton who takes care of our volleyball, our flag football, our spring sports, and our basketball. And then Carrie Turney takes care of our soccer for us. They're kind of our point person for the day of the games and everything, and they make sure everything runs smooth for us. So they've done a great job, and just want to give them kudos.
Yeah, Lindsay does a great job. I see her
she's
every time I'm out at volleyball.
yeah,
She's great.
good gal.
Okay, so I would like to bring up a spring sport.
Yep.
Guess what it is?
Pickleball league.
Pickleball for kids, youth. So I put the feeler out in the fall, and I had good feedback. About 60 people reached out and said they'd be interested in signing their kids up. And then within the past couple months, people have asked, when are we signing up? When is this happening? So just kind of wanted to see where we were on that.
Here's what we can do, because we will have our youth adult league nights and things like that. We need to find out about practices, getting our, were you gonna say something, Ryan?
No.
Okay. Practices, game times, because I know Saturday, I don't want to cut into our T-ball and, things like that, but there are enough days, I think, whether it's in an evening time, an early evening time for them, because we do our T-ball and they're done in the mornings and afternoon. Saturdays are T-ball, but we could do, that's 5 and 6. So if we have the older kids on a Saturday morning, that might work. Let Ryan and I do some stuff. Go
I was
ahead.
actually thinking Sunday afternoon.
Sunday afternoons?
Yeah.
I think
After
Sunday
church.
afternoon is absolutely perfect, in my
And we
opinion.
don't have to, what we could do is make it like an hour and a half deal, or, 2 hours is too long. An hour and a half where for the first 45 minutes, you're working with the kids, showing them how to play.
Yep.
And then the next 45 minutes, playing games, like doing maybe a tourney or seeing
Right.
them. And then I've had about 4 or 5 of my pickleball colleagues that said they would gladly come up and help teach. So
It sounds like we got a point person volunteer, Allie.
we do. I'm pretty excited about it.
That's awesome.
I would-
Yeah, that is
I think
awesome. I'm excited.
To me, it doesn't seem quite as ready to officially start out as almost like a league, but I think in the summertime, I think it'd be a great camp. Just call it a camp, call it a pickleball camp, and maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or maybe 3 days in a row if you can find days that are there's no other activities going on, to have a camp in the summertime for youth, so that they have people at day camp, or they train them, maybe they get lunch, and then afternoon just make it kind of like a fun activity where they maybe schedule some games and such, and let them practice out what they've learned that day.
That's a great idea.
First part of the week, Ryan and I will reach out to you and we'll start putting this thing together.
Okay, good deal.
Whether somehow, some way, this way we can get it going. Yep. Okay. Ryan, do you have anything more on?
That's it for winter and spring sports. One thing I did want to bring up as far as summertime and the pickleball courts go, after this use tax gets going, at some point the pickleball courts are going to be closed while they're building the new ones. So that's something we're going to have to keep in mind as far as scheduling super far out. I don't know realistically how quickly we'll be able to mobilize on that,
Right.
but it's something we need to keep in mind.
It's something we think that is pretty much going to come.
Yeah, and this spring could be like a tester to see like how many people
Yeah.
come out, how many kids come out, and how well. So.
And Allie, I love the
Sure.
idea of doing it on Sunday because there's nothing ever going on in Sundays in rec sports. So that's beautiful.
Okay. That sounds great.
Budget?
Budget time, Jim has distributed the previous year's budget, what we're in right now, to us with our expenses. And it's budget time to see what we think we can manage for next year in our wish list. And I know I would like to put in for a new pickup truck. Our pickup truck is a 2006 pickup, and it's time for an upgrade.
I just got you a gator.
Yeah, I know.
Get us a truck.
And then one thing too that we'd like to do, the Christmas decorations, we talked about the Christmas parade and things of that nature. Ryan and I have looked for the last couple of years, and we'd like to do that, is get at least from Lions Park down to here and Washington Street with like some snowflakes or pole decorations that are LED, light up, they don't take any electricity, and it would enhance the Christmas spirit around town. It'd be nice for the Christmas parade, and throughout the Christmas year with the decorations across the street and over here in the lot just to the east of City Hall. So that's something we're gonna try and get into the budget. Hopefully it will. And then just our Our other equipment, seems to be going good. We'll probably get about $1,000 hand auger type deal, but, our field drag, we just had maintenance worked on it for the first time, major, a clutch and some overhaul, and, it was about $1,500. And that thing is a 2003 model. And we take care of our equipment, so, other than that, things look pretty good. So those are the two main things that I know I'd like to request to get into the budget. If there's something, naturally, more dog park equipment and the shelters and things like that, but, other than that.
Baseball equipment.
Actually, what we're doing now, because of it seems like everybody's bringing their own helmets and things like that.
More like bags,
Our bags are in great shape, all of our equipment. We're gonna try and get out of providing the helmets. Now, naturally, the catcher's equipment and things like that, but the actual batting helmets for the kids, we're gonna try and get out of that. Most kids now have their own, and if they need one, yeah, we have some that are in great shape. All of our if they've got any bit of a crack, we pitch them. We don't donate them to anybody. They go in the dumpster. That way, we're not liable or anything of that nature. But all of our equipment's in great shape. We store it and get it and get ready. All the baseballs, if they're no good, they get pitched at the end of the year and stuff like that. So I'm going to jump into number 3 unless you guys have any questions on the budget. At the next Board of Aldermen meeting, the Board of Aldermen will be getting an email and basically email memo from Ryan and I. We had a bid for an irrigation system for the grass over at Lions Park. And it's federal law in Missouri that they must be E-Verify compliant. And this company, after we had agreed to the price and everything like that, I sent them the paperwork over, and they are not going to be, they don't use E-Verify, and they basically told us that, yeah, all their employees are legal and things like that. We can't do that. They've got to be E-Verify compliant, so that contract is null and void. And so I've been trying to find irrigation companies that are E-Verify compliant. Can't find, I found 2. I had a list of people, and they're not, but I did find 2, and we received 2 bids. One's really, really high, and the other one was about $1,800 higher, $1,500 higher than the last one. And I did receive an email from the company that their payroll company does do the E-Verify on their employees, and I included that in that. So there'll be a new bid coming, and hopefully we can get that taken care of this March. From what they said, if it gets approved at the first meeting in February, they would like to get started on that in March. So that's where we're at on that. Old Firehouse update, just to let you know about that. We received an email from Tim Cole, the windows. He checked on the windows again from Porter's. They're still about everything's just backed up. It's how it is. They're about 4 to 6 weeks out. So they'll do the windows, then they'll do the siding. And I visited with Jim a little bit. We'd like to see if maybe, because they've got some major leaks in that building, possibility of doing some type of a new roof over there. Don't know if that'll happen or not, but that's one of the things that we'd like to see done if we're going to do everything, especially when it's got some problems over there. So, anyway, wanted to let you know that the siding colors have been taken care of, and but we're just waiting for the product to come in, and Tim Cole will get started on that project as soon as he possibly can. And then Ryan, I'll turn it over to you for our amphitheater stuff.
Absolutely. So yeah, we're doing a full season in 2022, so we're very excited about that. We're rocking and rolling, if you will, getting our shows lined up. We got a big show lined up today that I can tell you about after I hit end stream on the live stream. So stay tuned on that one, folks. We're looking at around 8 shows for the season. I'm excited. I think we got some solid stuff in the works. And like I said, we just got our first big confirmation today. So yeah, amphitheater, we're having a full season this year. We're super excited. Also, we had some issues with the sound equipment last year. I'm sure all of you are aware of that.
Yes.
We've spoken to the manufacturer, and they have gotten us a new motherboard for our one board, and it is in our tech's hands as we speak, and he'll be installing that this spring. At the same time, he's going to be pulling a new underground snake, which is essentially a bundle of Cat 6 cables that will interconnect between the stage and the front of house position, and that will take care of the intermittence that was occurring. So basically, we think what happened is water got into that tube somehow and just ruined those cables over time. So in the meantime, we will always have a backup plan now, because we have what's called an overland snake, which is essentially a glorified fancy Cat 6 cable that goes over the top of the land as well. So we have multiple backup solutions. So we got some redundancy there now, and we're feeling pretty confident with it.
Good. So
Okay.
this year's budget for this, is this somewhere between Ouch and Boeing? What do we got?
We won't know that. When he tells you this, it's nothing like what has been done.
Yeah, we're not spending $50,000 to $100,000, anything like that
on an act.
on one.
Not
Yeah,
happening.
no. This is I think a much more fiscally responsible approach.
Okay,
Yep. So, and after, like Ryan said, we can tell, because it's confidential right now, because it's still,
sure.
but we can tell you after we're done with the stream. So,
Was the new security system installed?
Yes, the new security system is installed. It works great. In fact, the one day when I was sick, Eric and Ray had to take, so we got our new board in finally, because there's a 6-month delay on that as well. So Eric and Ray decided to take it out to the amphitheater one day when I was sick, and Eric calls me, "How do I turn this thing off?" So yeah, it was, so we know it works great. But yeah,
there's one more step than what I was used to.
Yeah.
You know, if they added another step, I forgot to ask Ryan.
Yeah, it was really funny. But so yeah, the new system's installed, and the thing I really like about it is this is kind of getting down in the weeds and nerdy, but that's who I am. So before we had smoke alarms, right? And the issue with the smoke alarms out at the amphitheater is it would get so cold out there that the air would get so cold, and it form little crystals inside those smoke alarms and send out a false positive when it's generally, it happens when it's below zero. At least every occurrence that we've seen has happened when it's below zero. Last time it was like -6. So, you know, naturally 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, that'll happen. We'll have to run out there thinking there's a fire at the amphitheater. Now, instead of smoke alarms, we have heat sensors, which is a much better way to do it. And so we shouldn't be having any of those issues.
We couldn't get the door open because there was ice and snow in front of the door.
Yeah, there's
the fire department would be out there.
Yeah.
So
in fact, and that is a great thing to say. Our fire department has beat us out there every single time. So they do great.
Very nice.
Yep. Yep.
As they should.
As they should.
Yeah, good.
But we haven't had that problem this year, thank goodness. That's one thing Ryan and I have said. the old fire alarm and smoke detectors haven't went off, so that's great, good, so.
Okay, any board comments? Christie, you got anything? Ally?
No, right now, thanks.
Nick?
I'm done.
Good. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Can I get a second?
Who made the motion?
Nick,
Oh, do it?
well, you bounced your head.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, sure.
Okay, can I get a second? All in favor, say aye.
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 Meeting adjourned.
I'm gonna-
Thank you, Lisa.